I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Guys, we're gonna talk for real for just a minute here, real talk. I released a guide a while ago that showed how in 5v5 and 3v3, MOTHMA can take down Grievous, and it was true. It was true at the time I tested it. I even did it for an entire season. It worked. It was totally consistent. It was really cool. And so I made a guide about it, and then something changed. I don't know if I changed my mods, if I didn't fully understand what everything was happening. Maybe CG fixed something underneath the hood, but I take this kind of thing seriously. If it's not working, and I failed a lot. If you guys watched me in my most recent 5v5 season, I failed it a lot until I eventually did enough testing to find that I needed a new comp. You can see Ugly, Pow, and Biston here on the thumbnail. Not nearly as cool as the K2 Cassian glamour shot here, but that was my old thumbnail. This is the new one, and it's just to show you need Pow and Biston now, which is actually great because you need Biston for the ship anyway. So what we're gonna do today, guys, I'm gonna go through, we're gonna redo this guide. I'm actually in 3v3 version. I'm just gonna give you links in the video description because we don't need to make this video longer. It is rock solid. It is super good, and all you need to know is like how to operate it. It's almost just point and click. I mean, I don't know that you could hit auto, but 3v3, it's so many people have tested it and used it. Like, very good counter. 5v5, that's the question mark. That's what we're going to do. So first we're going to talk about modding, and then we're going to jump into some actual fights. Going to show you a bunch of different scenarios where we're fighting Nute, a Grievous team with Nute as the 5th, and then a Grievous team with Droideka as the 5th, and just kind of what's going on. So let's actually jump to see the mods here first. Okay, so here's the team, guys. Here is the team. Let me back out real quick. Here are the two teams. So we have Cassian, K2, and Mothra. That's the 3v3 team. It used to be the team that did work when I was testing it the very first time. It used to have Mothra with K2 and Cassian, and then Kara and Hoth Rebel Scout. That was the team. And now we're taking Cassian and K2 out and adding Pow and Biston. So the good news is these are all characters. Like, Kara's just pretty good. You can work on her. MOTHMA that is shared, and then Biston is good for ships. But then there's a total of what I can count 7 different characters here if you want to have the counter for both 3v3 and 5v5. Not as ideal, I realize, but if you want to know how to counter in 5v5, this is the team that's going to work, because I've spent so many hours and crystals testing it and trying to figure out which turn meter to go, or which character goes first, what thing happens. So what we're doing here with this MOTHMA team is we're going to, so Grievous is inherently a target lock heavy team that uses target lock to manipulate their own turn meter and yours a little bit too. And so what you're going to be doing with Mothra here is you're going to take back the turn meter. Like, this whole team is all about manipulating turn meter and reducing what Grievous is doing. So first off, you have Mothra. What do you want from her? You need her to be pretty quick, actually. After testing a lot, consistently the thing that I ran into was the interaction of, if they have Magna Guard, then you do your attack on the Grievous squad, and if you do an attack on Magna Guard is going to hit you back. He's going to counter, and then you get stuck there. And if Mothra hasn't gone early on and summoned her worthless guy, that's what I call him, then he's going to, you're not going to be able to dispel. You get stuck there, and B2 is just going to pound you into the ground, feeding all the turn meter to Grievous and B1, and life is going to be hard, and you're going to die. And you're going to ask me, Zareth, why did I fail? And I'm going to say, because your Mothra is not fast enough. and because I call, because you keep asking me why I call her Mothra, and it's because, let me just answer this. I call her Mothra or Mothma. Mothra, I know that bugs some people. So I heard someone say it at one point that Mothra, they called her Mothra, and Mothra's the big moth creature in the Godzilla franchise. I don't know, like, she's not really that reminiscent of it. I mean, in some ways, like, this really white, puffy cloak is a little bit moth-ish, but, you know, and she's old enough, it's like she needs mothballs. I don't know. I don't know why I said moth. Why would she need mothballs? Mothballs don't exist anymore. That's why. And she's so old that she's someone who would use them in the past. Gosh, okay, I'm totally tangenting, guys. I gotta stop. So, what we're doing with her, though, she needs to go pretty early on, if possible. If she can go first, that's great. Really, though, you need to make sure you're faster than Nute. Well, you don't have to be faster than Nute. If you can be faster than B2, or B1, then things are going to be a lot better for you. So, I have her at this speed here, 246. She gets plus 50 speed from her kit, so almost 300 speed. That's going to be faster than most B1s, if we're being honest. Like, that's most B1s, that's a lot of speed a B1 would have to be able to outspeed her. And if she goes first, then things are good. She summons her worthless guy, and then you can actually dispel against Magnagard. Otherwise, you want to give her tenacity. You can see I gave her a couple nods to tenacity. Everyone's going to be handing her tenacity as well. It's sad that I have to put a speed set on her now, because otherwise she could be a base 200, and then she shares all this tenacity from everyone else. Everyone hands it to her, and she gets, if she's over 200 to start with, like, it takes a while for Grievous to be able to actually apply debuffs to her, and then, you know, the less turn meter they feed, the better. So, lots of tenacity. If you have just like a crazy, you know, 3x tenacity set for, that's really, really fast for her, think about doing that. Whoa. Why are you there, Piet? What just happened? Piet's not part of the squad, guys. Don't worry. Though, he might help. He also mightn't. Keep in mind, guys, if you put a different character that's not a rebel fighter in the squad, then you can't summon the worthless guy. And that's an important part of the squad. So if you try to improvise things, make sure that they're, I guess, a rebel fighter, even better, but you know, as long as you have a rebel, then you can summon worthless guy. Anyways, we have Cara Dune here next. She wants speed, and really you want potency. I do have her modded for tenacity here, and that's fine. The idea behind the tenacity, of course, is everyone, you take all of the communal tenacity, you add all of it up, and you take 8% of that and give it to everyone. I believe. I think that's what Mothra does. So you know, you can get a pretty decent amount of tenacity onto everyone, including Cara. She wants to resist all those debuffs as well. Potency is nice, though, because her AoE reduces turn meter, and that's part of the charm of this squad. She reduces turn meter on everyone with her AoE, and, you know, she taunts, she does all her cool stuff, etc. So if you can get some potency on her, that's great. Tenacity is also good. You have, gosh, okay, B1. What's going on? It's funny because I was just doing this earlier. I was clicking through and it totally worked. But all right, so we have Pow now, Pow now, brown cow. So he's kind of the soul of this team in a lot of ways. So he used to have this worthless Zeta. You have to put it on him now. It is important. And what happens is all allies gain offense up. That's cool. And then Pow gains 40% turn meter. And so beyond that, though, his unique is whenever a rebel ally uses a basic, it reduces Pow's cooldowns by 1, and Pow gains 5% turn meter. So what happens is you can do a cycle where, I mean, a lot of times you just use his shout, because even though the cooldown is, it's 11, by the time he takes another turn, so many rebels have already assisted that he has, you know, they're using their basics to assist, that he's already gotten rid of that cooldown, and he can just keep chaining this. He gains another 40% turn meter, everyone takes a turn, and, you know, Hoth Rebel Scout is giving turn meter, so he just kind of loops and loops and loops. He is the guy who speeds this whole team up and makes it unending on the turn meter side. So, He is Relic 5. I don't know that you need Relic 5. Keep in mind, everyone here is pretty squishy. The turn meter squad is squishy, and so Grievous is going to just stomp you. If you have K2 and Cassian, they're a little more solid. Well, at least K2 is. But I kind of walked a weird line with him. I wasn't sure. Like, really, he's just there for turn meter, but he doesn't need to be fast, because you can have your other fast guys go first, and then he'll go real fast because he's gaining all the turn meters. So I went in a kind of weird direction of like some offense and some protection. You don't need speed. You know, obviously I have a little bit, but protection on him with a triangle. Like, this is a great place for a protection offense set triangle. And then I have a health set here. And, gosh, okay. And this one has offense. So I kind of just went both ways, like tried to have both. I think you can go one way or another and it's fine. But he doesn't need to be super fast. He is Relic 5. Keep in mind, the faster you kill Grievous, the smaller attempts or the smaller opportunity you have to be able to regrow your health and protection for good banners. And you'll see that in a little bit. Dear Lord, why is Finn there? So ridiculous. So maybe it's that I needed to click on this. All right. So now we have Biston. Now that the squad is mostly looked at. So Biston, guys, go work on your Rebel Fleet. Rebel Fleet is amazing. It does a lot of really cool stuff, and it kills all the things. It is a really strong fleet, but you need the Biston U-Wing. So now, all you have to do is spend like 11 more Carbanti. You have him geared. Go spend 11 more Carbanti and a bunch of other crazy gear on Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, and then never use him again other than in his ship. But that team is, or that ship is the thing that makes the Rebels really work well. So anyways, we have Biston. It's a weird monkey thing. I don't know what's going on with his eyebrows. He doesn't either. He doesn't seem to care. He's also holding his blaster pistol really awkwardly, and he has human hands. Am I the only one who thinks that Biston is just the weirdest character ever, especially in this game? I just don't get it. He's got this weird little flap in the back. Is it as a backpack, or is it just... He's weird. Anyways, he's also good at turn meter stuff. So the key here for him, he's got two things. So he's got Frenzy. So he uses Frenzy whenever someone uses a special ability, he gains 100% turn meter. And he has it for 4 turns. And so every time Pow gets his shout off, then Biston immediately gets another turn. And then sometimes you'll have this ability, and that it removes turn meter equal to Biston's potency. So Mothma's giving everyone the potency. She's giving everyone potency. If you want to be super exact, you can do that. You can see that 6E mods on everyone because Biston's ship needs it. And so really you can put garbage on, just total absolute garbage on him as long as there's 6E mods. If you want to make him more effective though, get him enough potency. This is overkill on potency. I just happen to have the right mods for it, so I'm doing it. But potency is great if you want. I mean, honestly, get some tenacity on him too, just to add to that communal pool so that everyone is resisting things as much as they can initially against Grievous. But this is too much potency. He has more than enough, so you can't remove more than 100% potency. That being said, you also want to be able to make it stick, so maybe this is a fine amount, because if they have a lot of tenacity, then they're going to resist against you if you have lower potency. So anyways, he's got all this stuff. He gains 10% potency for each rebel ally and each debuffed enemy. So in fact, you're going to gain, you have a ton of potency anyways. So you probably don't need quite as much as this. Finally, okay, I did figure it out, guys. I slowly got there. So you can see he's the only guy at Relic 3. I'd love him to be Relic 5. Honestly, I'll do that eventually, maybe. So he's got a couple things going on with him. He can be the fastest on the team because he has the highest base speed. And so what I have going on here, I just wanted to show you this. I don't think this is what I'm going to end up doing, though. So Hoth Rebel Scout, he can be 309 pretty easily. You can see his plus 134. That's about the same as what Mothra had. But his speed, I mean, his base speed is just so much higher than hers. And you want to be faster than the enemy B1s if you can. And so, I mean, this is pretty good. He is super smooth. If he is first, you have to make a decision. If he goes first against a Nute team, you're good. You are solid. You're gonna win, and you're gonna you're gonna do fun things. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have a good day. So, but if you're against a Droideka team, a Grievous team with Droideka as the start, then you're gonna have a bad day, because he is gonna shoot Magna Guard, and unless he gets lucky and stuns that Magna Guard, then he is going to. Then that Magna Guard's going to taunt, and then Mothma has not gone yet, so you can't even dispel the taunt, and it's gonna be a huge mess. So you have to make the choice. Do you want him to go first or not? And you'll see in a minute, it's not that easy of a decision. You'll have to choose what you want to do. I think if you can make your Mothra fast, it's way harder to make her fast. That's going to be the more consistent thing, though. So the other thing that happens, guys, if you use his special here, that's going to give Biston his bonus turn, so that's cool. But then also, he has this 55% chance to stun, and if you crit with this, he gains 100% turn meter, so he goes again. So we'll call everyone to assist. He might stun, 50% chance-ish. A little bit less, actually, once you include the 15%, just all potential to fail that is always there. But the other piece of it, guys, is, okay, so, that's not it. So it's his basic, and really this is the strongest thing. So 40% chance every time he does damage. So if it's against someone with healing immunity, this isn't going to do anything, which is relevant against Droideka, depending. So, anyways, you also have a 40% chance to gain 25% turn meter for all allies. And so he's handing, half-ish of the time, he's handing everyone 25% turn meter. Pow is getting all this crazy turn meter. Biston's getting all this crazy turn meter. And Kara is throwing her bombs to reduce turn meter. This team can get into an endless loop situation. It's pretty cool. So if you want him fast, he's easier to get fast than Mothra, but probably less overall utility. So that being said, folks, that's the team and the mods. We've spent a long time talking about that. Let's actually get into video here of them killing Grievous. Okay, so we're here. We got that. We got it. So this is a Nute team, and this is with Mothma as fast. You'll note that I did not have both of them fast in any of the fights. I either had Scarif Rebel Path, or I either had Scout, or I had Mothra fast. So Nute is going to go first here. That's fine. He can go first. And that's going to call B1. And so that already happened. So you can see she's doing a non-attack move, and so that means that it's not going to trigger the IG 100. Gosh, I just read that Magna Guard taunt, and that's great. So you can target either him or Nute, doesn't really matter. So everyone assists, that's great. B2 then procs, and he comes out of hiding, and this is where you pounce. Now you just want to target B2. You need to focus him down. So Pow is going to do his yell, his shout, his pipaka, whatever madness. Now, keep in mind, guys, Kara's going to throw her grenades here, her bombs. You can ignore the extortion a little bit, because Nute isn't the lead. The extortion's not great, but it's not urgent. So what's more important? Keep looking, guys. There's a lot of different little details you have to look at. So look at B1. He's still in stealth, but he hasn't taken a turn yet. Grievous, though, and B1 are about to take turns. So is Magna Guard. So if you throw this grenade and you can reduce their turn meter, that's wonderful. Magna Guard, however, no matter who you're targeting, Magna Guard is going to potentially hit you back. But however, that's fine. We have our worthless guy that we summoned from Mothma, and so you'll eventually be able to do another shout from Pow, and that will free you, because that will allow you to dispel without actually having done an attack. So throw these grenades, and you can see immediately Grievous and B1 have less turn meter. So does Magna Guard, actually. And now we got lucky, because that counter, the 70% counter chance from Magna Guard did not proc. So we can do our frenzy here from our friend here from Biston, and then we did our shout, which is a special, and immediately you can see Biston got his turn. So I did his special just to take that turn meter down. That maybe a waste of that move, to be honest, because B2 was going to die anyways. But Now he's gone, and ideally you're just trying to kill B1 here. You can send the extortion away. That's fine, or pay it off, whatever. So you want to save that heal. Absolutely save it. Note that after one AoE from Grievous, we're actually healing pretty well, and we have so much good turn meter manipulation that they're not really even getting that close to taking a turn. Like, we're about to kill Magnagard, and B1 hasn't even taken a turn. So now you can see Pow did his big call, and then it didn't. Did it not dispel on Magnagard? I wonder if the worthless guy missed. But one way or another, so you do the shout and kill Magnagard, and this is kind of irregular. Usually B1 is gone by now, but that does work. So throw your grenades, reduce turn meter again, and really, I mean, it's all over but the crying or laughing, depending on which side you're on. I always wondered why people say it's all over but the crying. Like, can't there be other options? Like, is crying the only real thing that you're allowed to do? But you drill Grievous, and then Nute is just gone. So once again, this is the same scenario. Mothra goes first. Well, she goes after Nute, and so she's gonna summon her worthless guy. You're gonna target. You can target Magnagard. You can target Nute. Doesn't matter which one, because again, he can't counter her special or her move because it's not an attack. So. Now B1 is out. You can see that's a little more standard, but Grievous is about to take a turn, so throw those grenades. He gets reduced turn meter, and then immediately we can get a shout from Pow, and we're good to go to be able to dispel that Magnagard. So B2's going to town here. Now check this out. So you can see my mouse cursor. Even when I was recording this, I was showing the stream how we can how he has buff immunity. So why you don't want to do his frenzy move? You don't want to do his frenzy because he can't gain frenzy there. So you can pay your extortion if you want. You could just do a basic. Basic might actually be better just because Pow is going to get more turn meter. But one way or another, we're just going to keep taking it to him. Grievous is about to take a turn, and that's I mean, it's inevitable. Grievous is inevitable, but we have so much turn meter manipulation, guys. We can just take out B2. Now, don't get tempted to like try to double dip and just let Grievous kill B2 or something, because if Grievous kills B2, he's going to take 2 turns in a row and AoE you both times, and you're not gonna survive that probably. You need that little break in between kills to get your health and protection back. So you can see I finally did use a grenade to take out that B1 because that way Magnagard can actually have some damage on him. Not really following my own advice very well, trying to keep my guys alive, and Mothra is slowly healing us every time she takes a turn, every time anyone takes a turn. But okay, so target of opportunity here. Biston's using his second special, trying to take out this Grievous turn meter. Didn't work out, but Kara can use her grenades, reduce it a little bit. And I mean, if Grievous goes earlier, like, not the end of the world, but you'll note, because everyone has all this low health and protection, they're just not, like, it's all gone now. Grievous, Kara's good. Like, she has good armor, she has good all the things, and so she's doing remarkably well, in fact. The rest of them, it's just they don't have very much starting protection. So take out Grievous, and then Nute is a foregone conclusion. Now, this is an example of using your your scout, and so you want to target Nute here, and you definitely don't want to shoot Magnagard, because again, you don't know if you're gonna stun. It's like less than 50%, and if you do stun, then that's great. But otherwise, you can just target Nute here, and he doesn't hit back, and he doesn't count. Like, there's no downside to hitting Nute. Unless Nute is so weak, he's just going to die from your initial barrage. And usually Nutes aren't going to be that bad. So B1 or B2 is here again. And, once he's out, you go to town. I mean, it's the same formula over and over again. You do your opening move, hopefully summon your guy. Now, we're finally getting Worthless Guy. After a whole big round of attacks, we're finally getting Worthless Guy. Imagine if we had shot Magnagard first, And then we did all these attacks. Like B2 would have just killed us dead by now through all the turn meter gain and giving Grievous turns and B1 turns and seeding the turn meter. So, anyways, kill B2, Grievous takes his AoE, kill B1, kill Magna Guard, etc. I mean, this is a little dicey. Like they're getting a lot of turns suddenly just because they are a turn meter team. They're trying to take it back. And so we're just doing a basic here because there wasn't turn meter to really steal that much. But he's going to counter, of course. You do the shout and dispel. And now we can move. You can wait for, I was waiting for turn meter, trying to see if I should dispel it. Nothing really showed up. And now, so Pow's about to get a turn. So we can do the grenade and reduce turn meter. And Magna Guard actually had a rare instance of not countering. But even if he had, Pow could do his shout and dispel him immediately, and you can get back to the business at hand. So, anyways, pretty easy fight with Scout. If you go first against Nute, Scout is a great fix. He's way cheaper to get fast. Probably just a better solution if you're counting on fighting Nute teams. I mean, this team can take out a bunch of other stuff too, so there's not going to be any shortage, especially with the expanded divisions that are coming out. So that being said, now I save the revive until at the very end. You can heal everyone a little bit, but one way or another, I mean, easy enough to take him out. It takes. Here's the thing, though. Like, Biston and Kara might be able to heal up again. This is like a 57. Looking like a 57, if not even worse, because Nute's about to die, and then he'll die again soon. So, alright, now this is what happens when you take Droideka, guys, and you have... this is the Scout going first, and he has no choice but to shoot Magna Guard. So you can do basic... So what happened was the first time I did this... was when I was testing, I actually got a stun on him, and then if you get a stun on him, you're good. Like, you're just fine. The whole match just unfolds perfectly, in fact. Like, that's the ideal situation. But it's less than 50% chance. That is not at all consistent, and so I just did a basic here just to emulate, like, this is what would happen if, I didn't want to keep trying, just fishing, like, maybe I would get lucky and just keep stunning him accidentally, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted to show what would actually happen. So that's why I did a basic there, to show how he does his counter, and now Mothra didn't go. She hasn't gone for a while. We can do our big call. Here we can't target anyone else, but we can't dispel because we need our worthless guy, and... they're taking a ton of turns. Look at how low our health already is. We can finally get our worthless guy, get Magna Guard cleared. So now we can start working on B2. But they've gotten a lot of turn meter. We've ceded the advantage. They've taken too many turns with, of us just hitting Magna Guard and then B2 proccing and doing his AoE, etc. I kind of got flustered here and tried to stun Magna Guard. Didn't work. Eventually, I think Biston is going to even try to do Frenzy, which obviously also does not work for him. Have to summon, or have to get everyone back if we can. I guess Biston already tried to do his worthless move, but I mean, we're screwed, right? I mean, there's no way we win this. Mothra can't revive anyone else for like 3 more turns, and we're stuck behind Magna Guard. Everyone else is in yellow, or will be soon. It's a fiasco, just total fiasco, and that's what happens if you have Scout against a Droideka team, if he goes first. So, now here's what happens when Mothra goes first against this same team. Now, without Nute, Mothra has a really great chance of going first. If B1 goes first, I did test it where Mothra is fast, but B1 goes first. If B1 goes first, it's also pretty easy because you can take a ton of hits on B1 for a little bit, and then eventually B2 is going to come back in. And once he comes out of stealth, then you can just go to town. So, Droideka offers a unique challenge here. I had a few people test it. I didn't. This Droideka is, if full disclosure, he's only gear 12, but I had a few people test this for me as well, this comp, and what they told me was that even like Relic 6 Droideka doesn't matter. that doesn't actually do anything to stop this. Like, maybe Droideka kills someone. Almost certainly not, though. So, anyways, yeah, we got him out. Now there's a different thing I would have done here with Kara. I would have actually targeted Droideka there. This is an earlier test, but target Droideka to get rid of his damage immunity, so he does less, so he can do less damage. Instead, I'm taking out B1 here, and actually, I kind of got lucky because now we can just target Droideka. He hasn't even gone yet because our turn meter manipulation. You can see there's a 10 there. He has 10 stacks because we took 10 turns before he got to go. He ended up hitting Kara for a bunch of damage, but not enough. Maybe she would have died there if it had been Relic 6. Who knows? But once again, I mean, this is a pretty good, obvious. I mean, we're gonna get there, right? At this point, we're firmly in control. Magna Guard is stunned and can't do anything. Grievous will get one last AoE, and now maybe he won't take another turn, depending on if we can reduce turn meter from various characters. So probably gonna get a 55 here. That's just how it works. 55, that's what we're gonna have to accept against Grievous sometimes with Mothra. If you have a high relics. If you have lower relics, it's higher risk, but it works. If you don't die, then you're going to be able to drag the fight out just a little bit longer and hopefully get more protection. So kind of your call. Once again, just doing one more round here of testing. You guys have to realize I did about 4 hours straight of this battle. So if your eyes are swimming, if your head is swimming, think of how I feel. And now I have to actually go through it all again for a long time trying to explain it to you guys. So poor Zareth is what I'm trying to say. Now, once again, we're just doing the same thing. I mean, just over and over again. Mothra, if she can go first in this fight, then you're good to go. Or, I mean, again, in this fight, if everyone is slow, you're actually good. As long as you can start attacking B1 after he pops his head out, then you're good to go. Okay, so here's where we take out the Droideka first. May as well, right? I was like, oh, let's just steal his turn meter, and that didn't really work out. But because you miss, because he has evade, and anyways, you can just kill Droideka first. And in fact, I think maybe that's just the better move, just because Droideka could potentially just kill Cara Dune. So, Magna Guard didn't taunt there. Foolish boy. One thing that I'll note, I think I took all of the instances of it out in this fight, but, oh, here it is. So I didn't have much health or protection available, and so, like, what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that when Grievous does his AoE that I survived it, so I attacked Grievous for a couple turns just to heal up, so that when we eventually killed Magna Guard, we'd have healed enough that we could actually withstand that Grievous AoE. So, anyways, guys, this kind of works pretty nicely. It's pretty sweet. It's consistent. I've tested it. Even in the last season in 5v5, I tested it quite a few times in the final week. I think I did it 2 or 3 times. Quite a few equals 2 or 3. But I did do it a few times, and it totally worked-ish. Not ish, it totally did. And I had a few other people test it. I mean, this is a pretty solid counter. It just is. Here, let's go here. So, anyways, I had people test it. It works. It does work. It does work in 5v5 now. So, do what you want with it. If you want to work on this team, it is a great way with, I mean, Mothma being able to be flexible and take out a bunch of different teams. I mean, this is a great way to do it. And Grievous is going to be better than ever. He's going to be resurgent. People are going to start keeping him on offense, I think, too, sometimes. But Mothra, man, she just does a lot of good stuff. She actually, there's even a comp where you have to upgrade Bodhi, and sometimes you can actually kill some Rey teams. It's pretty silly, but that being said, folks, go to the video description if you want some links to some 3v3 counters using the Cassian K2 squad. If you don't believe me, it is very real. It's very cool. And trust me, guys, it's very cool. Because I can be trusted about that. But, alright, guys, I'm tired. I gotta go to bed. I hope you find this counter helpful. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.